Hello guys, here I am in another video. Let me just first of all, let me just check like if everything's working fine. I just want to make sure like every single time when I start with a new stream that everything's working, because most of the time I'm having some problems with it, like I mean sometimes with the audio and like I don't know. Let me just check real quick. So almost there. My channel, the live. All right, that's working fine. So here I am with another video in the new year. So like I have no clue what I'm going to do, but I'm just trying to add some basic functionality into the scene. I mean, like I'm not talking about like actual. Maybe we can also do that. I mean, let me just check. Like we had this plane here, which we use as a collision plane. Let me just check. Okay, so. This is like most of the time if you get the scale right, this is the centimeter. So like you may want to get it to I don't know like 5 or 60 maybe, just to make sure this is going to be the plane. Like I could also like just go inside the meshes here and just try to turn on the collision for all of them, but like I wouldn't do it because like it's going to be like super intensive on the graphic. I mean, I think it's done on the CPU, so like it's gonna have a huge impact on the CPU. So you would just like wanna uh, get the plane here as like a basic collision box, like so my character can walk on it. So like let me just check. I mean, like here I think we had a player start. Player start. That's here. Let me just check where it is. So it's just like real far away. We're going to delete that one, like get rid of it. I don't even get like why it's even taking some time just to delete the player start, like probably, I mean, time to time it just has some it's connected with some other functionality inside the level, so that might be a reason why. Okay, so player start. I'm going to add a new one here somewhere. I'm going to the world settings, and here you're gonna see all the game mods. Right now, I mean the basic game mod is just like a game mod which doesn't have a character, nothing. It's just to navigate inside your scene. So let me just check if it's working. So maybe cancel that, because like first of all you may want to check like which mod you're playing the game with. If you go here with a standalone game or something else, it might be kind of crazy. All right, we're going to go with the selected viewport, so we're going to play in the viewport. Like you see, there's no gravity, there's nothing. You can just fly in your scene. So like let me just go back and then make sure. I mean, we had a compile error. Let me just play the level again. So let me just check. Okay, so this level blueprint has a compile error. I mean, it's not a huge thing, like if you're not like plan to export the scene or something, but whatever. I mean, let me just check what's the problem. So like get scalar. Okay, so like it's this multi-event begin bad. There's just basically nothing, like you can just delete this one and this one, like you can get rid of it, because it was just like probably I was just trying something, it didn't work out. So let me just try it again. So no blueprint compiler, so which is kind of nice. Okay, so we can, I mean, right now, okay, another problem I have, like most of the time, like even when the sun is coming directly from top, like time to time, you're not going to see any shadow. And the reason for that is just like if I just turn off my fog. Okay, so right now, everything's just working as expected. The problem, I mean, the reason for that, here you can just like play with the scale of your camera. So like, I mean, if you want to go on top of the clouds, we may want to need a real fast camera for that. So let me just come here. You're going to see the clouds are actually they're like actual clouds with volumes and everything. So the way you're gonna fix it, or we're gonna fix it. So let me just, just go to the scene. Okay, so right now it's still super fast. So let me just try to get it back instead of one. All right, cool. So the reason for that is I mean, that's the shadows. You know, like I mean, we can also take a look at it. You know, like I mean, right now I'm not trying to do anything specific. So if you go to the volumetric clouds, we're going to have some settings here to play with. Sorry, not here, it's here. Okay, so we can just basically, you know, like we can just set like, I mean, you're not going to change much here, except for, you know, like you can change the layer height. Right now it's kind of too low, right? Like, let's get it back. 3, 5. No, you see, I mean, the clouds are just like moving, you know, like if you just take it back to, I don't know, like minus something maybe. Okay, so 0. I don't know what's going on there, but like I think maybe we're inside the, no we're not, but whatever. I mean, I'm gonna take it back to 5 or something like that, you know, like I have no idea how the scale is like calculated, but like I mean the way you might want to change it, you know, like I mean the noise exponential and stuff, you know, like if it just instead of, you see, I mean, you can just try to play with the numbers here, just to play with your scale of with the scale of your clouds, and then eventually here you have the noise scale. You can just take it to 1, you know, like it's going nuts. What was the previous value? It was like 0.5. Just take it to, you know, you can just basically play with the settings here just to get something you want. But the thing you may wanna keep in mind is the shadows. They're volumetric, and then right now my sun is coming from there, you know, like if I just get my sun with Control L, if I just move my sun here, you know, the light is gonna be stronger. And then if I move my sun back to somewhere where I have a cloud, you know, like a volumetric cloud, you know, somewhere here, oops, yeah, here, it's going to, I mean, this is, of course, this is like super cool if you're going to create some kind of a open world game or something like that, you know, like, I mean, it's super cool that you can have like a sun sky system and the sun can move like constantly, and then you can have like super cool like shadows and stuff, you know, like it's something you have in AAA games, you know, which is, I mean, I think it's super cool, but right now I'm not actually trying to get something like that. So like I'm just going to turn, I mean, I like the I like the clouds though, you know, like I mean if you just check it, you know, they're moving. You can also inside the material settings, you can also play with the speed and everything, but the clouds are moving and the shadow is just like changing constantly and stuff, which is super cool. So I'm not going to try to turn off the shadows or delete the shadows, clouds, sorry. I just want to turn off the shadows, you know, like it's the setting for that is here in the directional light. If I just go to cloud, volumetric or something. Okay, so this is also something cool. I mean, these are basically just like directional light, skylight, and sky atmosphere. These are all inside my scene, so they're nothing special. I mean, you can just go to the window and then add the what was that called, environment light mixer into your scene. It's turned on, if you can see it. So, I mean, that's, of course, I mean, basically it's the same thing here, but it's just giving you like a more direct control with everything here, like in a single tap, you know, like, which is, I think, super cool. But it's coming, like, I mean, the default setting for that is the minimal, you know, like when you have the minimal, you know, like, I mean, the most common values and stuff are going to be turned on, and then everything else is going to be turned off. So you may want to go for normal plus advanced. There's a typo with that, but whatever. So like, okay, so when you go to normal plus advanced, then I mean you're suddenly gonna see you have all the settings here relative to the cast cloud shadows, turn it off, turn it on. You see? I mean, this is basically the setting which is controlling the shadows, you know, like, I mean, right now I want to have it like this, you know, like, and then eventually after changing it, you know, like, you're going to realize that the light is actually kind of too bright. Here I'm going to go to the exponential height fog, you know, maybe when it's turned on, you know, like it's also gonna have some impact on the, okay, so it's still way too much. Instead of 30, we're going to try 20, and if it's also too much, we're going for 15, maybe 12. Okay, 12 looks kind of fine, right? Like, I mean, 12 is okay. So we can leave it at 12, and then indirect intensity is the light bounce. Just like, I mean, I think I went through this, but like, you know, like just one more time, you know, like, I mean, if the sun is coming from this direction, you know, like basically, I mean, it's just like real simple, you know. You have these two lights inside the scene, and that's that, you know, like except for them, you have nothing. So you have the skylight here, and it also has an intensity, and it's like if you turn this real-time capture here on, how do you explain it? You know, like it's going to be like calculated like real time based on the directional light and every single material and the sky system and everything inside your scene. You know, like if you just turn it off, it's basically just going to be darker, but still you see, I mean, these areas here, they're still kind of bright, you know, like they're not like super bright, but it depends on the indirect lighting intensity here. If you just take it to 10, or even like 20, you know, like you're gonna light up your scene without even needing a skylight. So like let's just put it back to 2, like it was at first, and then like the intensity of the skylight, I don't know, like something like 0.7. I think it's fine. And then the next thing I want to try is the when you click the play button here, you know, like I said, I mean the first template, or what we call it, the first yeah, that's probably called the template. You know, like you have like, I mean, you can also create your own players. You know, like, I mean, it can be like a first person player, it can be a third person player, it can be some arcade controller. I don't know, it can be anything, you know, like in racing games you have a car, you know, like where you don't have an actual character, you know, like it can be basically anything, you know, like we may want to go create that ourselves, but we're not going to do that right now. I mean, we can also play with some basic functionality of that. So like I'm going to click add here, and then if you click here add feature or content pack, you know, like when I first opened the scene, it was basically just what we call it, when I first opened the scene, it was a blank scene. You know, I didn't have anything like any controller or nothing. So I'm going to add a third person controller inside my scene at the project, and then eventually I'm gonna have it inside my scene. You know, right now when I click play, it's going to be the same thing. You know, like it's not gonna change anything. The reason for that is just we want to go to our world settings, and then we want to override the game mode. You know, like game mode is right now it's set to game mode, and game mode is basically the one where we can just like fly in the scene. So we're going to the game mode now. We're going to the third person game mode, right? Click here, and then eventually you're going to see that it's compiling the shaders. Basically it's just like compiling the blueprints and stuff, as far as I can imagine. So just select it, you know, like just try to make sure that your character just doesn't fall when you first start the game, you know, like when you just like collide it with the surface here, you're gonna see it's going to say the size is bad. So you may just want to check it if that's fine, and then you may just want to try that it's at a specific point where it doesn't give you the error, but at the same time it's just like as low as possible, so you just don't start by falling. I mean, when you first click play, you know, like there's the point you're going to start with. So like, I mean, you also have this small bluish arrow here. I mean, if I just click somewhere else, this arrow, you know, like there's a direction, you know, like when I mean, the second I just click play, I mean, probably it's gonna work, you know, like just click. Okay, so we're going to have our character inside our scene. You know, like right now, it's just starting to make kind of sense. You know, like, of course, we don't want to you don't want to play with this usual like this generic character. I mean, that might be the second thing or the next thing we can try. You know, like I mean, if you just okay. So first of all, this is how we leave it. You know, like I mean, the speed is maybe too much. And the way you can change it is just like, I mean, okay, so we didn't go through any single like blueprint functionality or something like that. So this is where we start. And then when we start with our character, you know, like we may want to do something, you know, like when we get to a specific point, maybe we want to let the door open or something like that. Just anything, you know, like, I mean, any functionality, you know, like we can just get this thing here and then play with the scale or something. So not what I'm going to do. I had a model. I did the okay. So the color is kind of too kitschy and it's kind of lame. I mean, I also didn't like the form that much. You know, like I had another stream today, like a couple hours back. It was basically just like just me trying to get something like this. So like I mean, just some forms. You know, like I'm not happy with the result. It's just you know like it's just a test. Test as you can think of it. Okay, so like I mean, even one is kind of too bright, right? Like I mean, maybe the color is just way off. Okay, so like you just want to go here and then like instead of I don't know, like maybe just take it back to point one or something, and then the okay, so this is here kind of way too off. And then maybe and right now maybe take it. Okay, so right now I mean it's not good. Yeah, the color is off. I mean, it just doesn't match with anything in the. It's yeah, it's kind of lame. You can just take it back to I don't know, like some reddish, like okay, maybe something like that, and then eventually have like a okay, there's some emissive lighting to it. Okay, leave it at something like that. I mean, this is also, yeah, this is also kind of way too off, but still, I mean, we can go with something like that, or we can just basically use the last material I just created. You know, like you can just go to Mega Scans here, and then you're gonna see the 3D surfaces there for that. And then here you have like I think I played with this Icelandic something. Okay, so like I mean, like this is also not that cool, but still, you know, like I'm just kind of, okay, so this is okay. I mean, it's not, but yeah, you know, like I'm going to add some basic functionality to it, so like I can just control it in the runtime. Runtime is basically when you click the play button here, you know, like it's going to run, and then when the scene runs, you know, like everything that's gonna happen is the runtime. I mean, that's happening in runtime. So okay, so we start again. Just want to check the collision and stuff, like if it's working, you know, like we're just probably not going to climb onto it. I don't know, maybe we can. Okay, so with using that, I mean, maybe that's also another thing to explain, you know, like when I click here, and then when I go to, there's, I mean, first of all, I have to talk about that too, so let me just go back to my camera just to check it, you know, like all the meshes you import into your scene, this is a mesh I imported from Blender, now which I just I don't know didn't like I don't know like maybe 10 15 minutes, and then eventually when you first import the thing, you know, like it's gonna the importer is going to ask you with which settings you wanna import it, and so like I want to import it as a nanite mesh. So if I mean whatever you select in the scene, you know, like something like this, all right, you just click here and it just takes you to the folder where you have the original mesh. So like I mean this is basically just in the project folder. So like Nanite is turned on, and when the I mean this is a bug. I realized that I'm not that sure if I can call it a bug or not. Like maybe it's just the future instead of a bug, you know. Like but what you're going to see, you know, like here inside the mesh editor or whatever you call it, and then you just check the collision here, uh, you're not going to see it. You know, like it's in the detail tab. It's going to have the related like settings. You know, like I mean when you check the collision, you're going to see it's the project default. So we wanna change it to use complex collision is simple. Basically, just taking the complex collision and then using it as the collision. So like we're just going to select that one, save, close, play. I'm going to show you another thing too, so like we're not done with it. So like we're just like trying to climb onto that thing now. You probably wouldn't because you know like inside the, okay, so there's always like I said, I'm just like finding it too difficult to keep everything inside the context. So like I can't. So I'm just going to my project folder, the content folder, and then the third person. Not here. Okay, third person blueprint. Then you go inside the blueprint. You're going to, oh god. Okay. Okay. I'm going to click here. Okay, so this is interesting. Like I didn't know it was going to be like this. You know, like I mean, the reason for that is I think this is not a. Okay, it's not showing the blueprint. Uh, this is no. This is for. I mean, of course, this is not the blueprint. This is the blueprint. Sorry for that. So okay, when we go inside the scene, you know, like we're gonna see. I mean, it has its own structure, like the structure here. You know, like I mean, this is the level structure. This is the blueprint structure, like the hierarchy of the blueprint. You know, like here you're gonna have like different things. You know, like just to play with some stuff and with some functionality. And then eventually you're gonna see here there's this character movement, so which just lets you to just play with the walkable floor angle is one of them. You know, like instead of 40, you could just get something like 70. You know, like compile and save, and then go back to the scene and play. We're probably going to see that we can climb into it. I mean, like if it's less than 70. Okay, so it's working, but this is obviously more than 70, and then jump, and then jump, and then jump, you know, like it's kind of working. So, okay, so, I mean, I'm not going to climb onto that thing, but still it's something we can try, right? Like, I mean, you're gonna see the collision is working and everything. So the problem with that, okay, small problem. So, or not a problem, but that was one thing I was trying to explain, but I'm not going to be able to explain it here with the nanite meshes. I mean, this is a nanite mesh, which means when you go to the view mode, if you just enable the triangles here, you're going to see that this consists of like triangles. You know, like I mean, most of the time when you have like meshes like this, you know, like which are like billions of billions of billions of triangles. I mean, maybe I was just exaggerating that. Maybe it was like I don't know, like maybe just million or a couple millions. Okay, so this is basically, I mean, here with the specific mesh, you know, you don't actually need nanite. What nanite basically does is just like a complex mesh like this, you know, like on the fly, it just plays with the level of detail, so to say, you know, like that. It just updates into runtime. You know, when you just get far away from the mesh, you know, like the triangles are just going to be larger. So, you know, like even if your scene is like, I don't know, like consisting of like thousands of meshes, you know, like you're still not going to have like performance issues. But in this case, you know, like as far as we realize, you don't need a nanite mesh for the specific mesh since the triangle, I mean, it's not like billions of triangles. Maybe it's just like couple hundreds or like, I mean, thousands at max, I would say. I'm just going inside the, yeah, so first, I mean, you can do it here by right clicking and then here nanite and then disable instead of, you're going to see it's updating. And then, I mean, that's one way of doing it. The second way is like coming here and then enable nanite here inside the mesh settings. Okay, so as soon as we disable okay, I'm not going to spend much time on it yet, whatever. I mean, this is, right now it's not a nanite mesh, it's just the usual mesh, and then we can also see it if you just go to nanite visualization here in the triangles, you know, you're going to see it's all black, so like, I mean, it's not nanite anymore. Going back to lift, and then all the meshes here, you know, like I don't know what I want to do, but maybe, you know, like when my character here, so when my character here just walks into a box, you know, maybe I want to scale this thing or something, you know, like anything right now. So There are billions of ways to do it, you know, like the first thing, I mean, just create a blueprint, you know, like if you just want to have some basic functionality instead of a character or something, you always want to get with, start with actor, and then start with actor, go inside your actor, eventually you're going to see here, there's nothing, almost nothing except for the root, and then here you have the construction script, and construction script is actually, it was kind of a thing which I couldn't like understand when I first started with Unreal Engine, so basically, construction script is a script which operates, you know, like every time the object just like updates inside your scene. So like, I mean, what can we do? What can we do? Okay, so I can just try to I don't know, like just show it somehow. You know, like I'm going to create a cube here. Okay, so I'm going to make the cube my root, and then just get the blueprint inside the scene. Know why I'm just spending time with this shit, you know, like these are all the things I know. I was always telling that I was going to spend some time doing what I normally do, but right now all the things I'm doing is just like basically I'm just talking about like some basic things I'm doing, you know, like maybe it wasn't a cool idea, whatever. So, okay, so like this is the cube, and then construction script is something, you know, like which can just like this is the cube, this is this cube basically inside the scene, and this is a reference to it. It's not the cube, it's a reference, you know, and the reference just like can, I don't know, like just apply some operations to it, you know, like you can just set world scale 3D, you know, like, but when the construction script just fires, you know, like you can just connect it to it, compile, save, you know, you're suddenly gonna see it's 0, 0, 0, which means, let me just make it like 1, okay, 1, 1, 1, compile, save, and then, yeah, so like this doesn't mean anything, you know, like, I mean, it has to do, you know, like every single frame it updates in the scene, it's going to do that operation one time. What can we try about it? So like maybe something like here, what we call it, the name random float in range. So basically just creates a float between 0 and 1. I mean, this is because I'm saying between 0 and 1, it can create something between 0 and 1000 or anything. So, okay, so get it, and then make vector. This is the problem I have, you know, like every single time how to create vector. I mean, make vector was what it is called in Blender. Okay, so make vector. Okay, so it's focus on vector. Vector 3D. 3D. What? Make vector. Okay, maybe it's not a vector, right? No, it's a vector. Okay, so this is a vector. I mean, the color yellow just shows it's the basically it's the same thing, you know, like you can just plug this thing 3 times inside the thing and then eventually compile, save. You're gonna see every single time I move it, you know, like every single frame, it's just getting the numbers between like 0 and 1, and then this makes a vector from that. But the way it works, you know, like, I mean, this fires and then lets this one know, okay, so make this operation, and then as soon as this node here gets the order that it has to make an operation, it goes backwards, you know, like it checks, okay, so what kind of an operation I'm doing. I'm taking the cube and then making a new scale, and then what's the scale? And the scale is x, y, z, and then that's going to be a single float if we do it this way. But if you just like copy it 3 times, you know, like instead of like just plug into a single knot, we can just plug it into 3 different like knots, you know, so eventually all the axes are going to work like separately, you know, like you see it. Okay, so this is like I said, this is what you can do in the construction script. If you guys can go back, you know, like I leave it in the scene and I click play and then I walk, you know, it's not going to do anything, just nothing, you know, like it's just basically just going to stay there like that. So okay, so this is the This is what I was trying to explain. I mean, this is the first thing I'm going to. Okay, so this, and then yeah. Okay, so right now I don't want to do it. You know, like I mean, I can just like do it manually. You know, like I'm not going to need that it will be done in the runtime, in the editor. So I'm going to copy it here one more time. Okay, and then so I want to do it when the game begins. You know, like right now I'm going to show you what's going to happen, and I do it when the game begins. You know, like I do it, it's going to happen one time, it's going to stay like that. You know, like because it fires one time when the game begins. So, but maybe I don't want to do it. Maybe I just want to do it in every tick. Event tick is just basically just constantly just like firing, you know, every single frame. So it will just like update every single second. So like, I just want to try that one, play. So like, okay, so right now you're going to see like, I mean, right now I think I have like 60 frames per second. It's updating that like every single frame. Okay, so jump onto it. So here, whatever. Okay, so this was another thing to show. But right now, I think I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to. Okay, so this that, and then this that, and that. Okay, so what do I want to do? So like, I want to, instead of the cube here, I want to get a, empty blueprint, and then I want to create a collision, a box collision, you know, something like something simple, something cool. Okay, so what's happening right now? I don't know why it's scaled. So like, let us check. Okay, 111, and then this here is also, it's not 111. So it's going to set this to 111. So like, we're going to have our box here, scale it up. No, not scale it from here. If I scale it from here, the problem with that is that it's going to be, it's going to, I mean, we're going to need to scale it like every single time we import it into the scene. So instead of that, like, we're going to do it here inside the blueprint. So we can do it one time, compile, save, and then eventually, okay, so like move here somewhere. So, you know, like, I mean, what can we do? So like, we can just like, get this here, 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 instead of 3, maybe we can have like 555, and then, okay, so right now I have this here, you know, like, I mean, it's going to detect my character when I just come here, you know, like, I mean, I'm going to leave it here, you know, like, as soon as I start to blind here, it's going to detect my character. Okay, so maybe also come. Okay, so it's going to detect my character, and I'm basically just like that's something. But that something is something we're just going to define, you know, like, I mean, I'm going to define right now. There are like billions of things you can do with that. So like, I mean, like basically almost everything you do in the game is just like by just like adding some functionality here. So right now I'm going to get this inside my scene, or maybe, I mean, I don't even need it, you know, like I can just select this here, go down, 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 down. Okay, so when the component begins overlapping with something else, something gonna happen. So that something is, okay, so what's that going to be? That something can be an actor, right? I mean, an actor. So just like, how do I get an actor? I can just come here to the variables, and then eventually here I can just create an actor blueprint and object reference. You know, like, I mean, it's basically compile save, and then like your actor here, this is a reference to an actor. So that actor is not defined yet. Like, this is real important. You know, like, I mean, it's just basically getting something, and that something is not clear right now. I mean, what it's going to be, but like, I mean, get that something, okay? And then just set scale, set world, set scale. Okay, so this is not set actor. scale 3D, right? Okay, so like I'm going to set the scale to, like, I mean, I'm not going to play with the X and Y axis. I'm just going to change it in the Z axis, so it will be like kind of like smaller. So whatever. I mean, so, but right now the thing is like we changed it, you know, like when I'm just go click play, you know, like nothing's gonna happen because, you know, like we defined something and then this actor, what's that actor? It's still undefined. So like how can we define it? You know, like we can just basically define it by just like clicking here and then compile and save and then go to my blueprint here, select it and then none, and then with this thing here, just let me just, we can just click this eyedropper here and then select this thing. Okay, so this is the mesh right now, but I think, even though I'm not that sure, when I play the game I think it's not going to work. So like let me just check what's going to happen. So I think nothing's gonna happen. So okay, it does. Ah, yeah, okay, so we have a problem with that. Okay, how do we fix it? So like right now, I'm going to do like something totally irrelevant right now. I'm going to go to the mesh editing mode here right now. Okay. And then inside the mesh, I'm so sorry, this is the modeling tool of the Unreal Engine. It's just like present in the last couple of versions, and then you can just like basically, where do I have it? You can basically change the pivot point here. So like change the pivot, do something, you know, like just get it to a point where you're pleased with it, you know, like I mean I'm just going to get it somewhere here, and then I just want to make sure that it's in the world Z almost something here, and then that's probably going to be enough for me for now. So like I'm going to accept it, and then eventually my mesh is gonna update itself, and then we basically just instead of like going to my 3D software, to Blender or to Maya, you know, like I mean like your 3D software of your choice, we just did it inside Unreal. It just like saved us time, like before, because I mean like normally we had to go back and forth and stuff. It didn't do that, so we did it here. The reason for that was just like, you know, like I mean when the mesh just like got like crazy, you know, like it was because the origin point was somewhere here, and then when it scales, you know, like it just scales randomly from that point, and then only God knows where. So like let's just try it again. I think it's going to work this time, even though I'm not that sure. Okay, you see, I mean the scale just changed, and then the scale is right now it's changing to the specific. That's something what programmers call like hard coded. You know, like this is hard coded right now. What I wanna say by that is just, you know, like I mean this is hard coded. I mean when you want to change it, you know, like you have to get back to your Unreal Engine and then change it. And like if you just wanna like, I mean, speaking of, let me just try to explain what I'm trying to say instead of just like trying to explain it here. You know, like I mean this is the thing, whatever. So like I'm going to get the, I'm not going to get it. I'm just going to right click it and then promote the variable, and then after it promotes to a variable, you know, like this is gonna code something like new scale, blah blah, whatever. And then compile it, save it, and then eventually, like we did the last time, you know, like I'm going to turn this I symbol here on, compile, save, close, you know. Okay, so we compiled, we saved, and then what are we going to do? So right now I'm going to I have my, okay, so I have my blueprint here, you know, like this is the, I mean, I have a variable which is the mesh type or the actor type actually, and then I have this thing here. Instead of like 0, I can just like change it to 3. Compile, I'm not supposed to compile right now because it's an actor inside my scene. You know, like it gets a mesh, scales that mesh. Okay, with 3, you see? I mean, it's scaled up like 3 times right now. Instead of, okay, so like this is what it basically this does. You know, like I could do the same thing. Hey, this is where it's real important. You know, like I can just, what I'm gonna do I'm gonna go inside my new blueprint, you know, like I'm going to add here like a small square or something, just so I can know where I have to go or where my, okay, so I'm going to copy it here somewhere. Yeah, here. Okay, here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to delete this one here and then go back here and then like select this actor here, and then here in the mesh, what was that called? Variable here. It's set to a parametric mesh. I mean, it's set to this specific mesh. It's just basically going to do the same thing when I just right now when I just like scale it to 0.5, and then this one here, instead of like instead of what, okay, I selected and then like this one's taking it to 3. So like what I can do right now, like just play the game, you know, like both of the actors are just referencing the same thing. I can come here, it's going to scale to 0.5, and then when I go back here, it's going to scale to 3. So but we can also use it in a different way, you know, like when I just come here, you know, like okay, we scaled it to 0.5, but I don't have to get this specific like match, because you know like this is a variable, you know, like we selected that to, I mean we set that to 0.5 here, but we can just like get the eyedropper here again and then select another match. So right, this match for instance. Okay, play, and then right now when I come here, you're going to see okay, so it wasn't too obvious. It happened actually, but like I mean it's not too obvious. Okay, so this is going to be this. Okay, not that one, maybe just like select another one so we can actually tell the difference. I mean, we're going to select this one, and then instead of like 0.5, I'm going to set it to 10, so the difference is just like real visible. Okay, going back here, you see, it just scaled up. So we can basically just like create some kind of a blueprint like this, you know, like just to create some like prototype and actions inside the scene. I'm going to leave it like this yet for now. But like I can also like I don't know like get like a cube here inside my scene, just scale it, you know, like whatever, and then like just select this thing here, and then like instead of this one I can select this cube, and then just make it like I don't know like 30 maybe. So yeah, so this is hey, this is real important. I mean, this is kind of a complicated like functionality when I just first started with the Unreal Engine. So I mean, it's actually kind of difficult to figure out. But okay, so like right now it's working. You know, like I mean, this is not the only thing you can do. Of course, you know, like you can just go inside your blueprint. You know, like I mean, when you overlap. You know, like when you just get inside this box. You know, it gets the mesh and scales it and etc. So. But we can also, you know, like get back this box again and then come here, just right on the very bottom, and then we can just select the component and overlap, you know, like the third one here, you know, like this is going to be, I mean, this is going to fire when we collide with the box. And then when we just like end the collision with the box, we can just do the same thing, you know, like we can just get the same actor, you know, so we can just set it one time, but the second time it can be another value, you know, like instead of like 3D, I mean this time it's like 3D minus 2, and then like I mean I'm going to set another one, and then this is another variable right now, and then I'm going to, hey sorry, nah, so of course not, we copied it, you know, like I mean we copied it, so it's not working. You have to make sure. Okay, so like we're going to delete this one here, and then like we're going to select this one here, and then instead of okay select, and then we're going to add a new variable, and then this one is going to be a vector. Get the vector, make it, expose it, so you can edit that inside of the scene, and then this is going to happen when the overlap with the box ends. So this time you're going to set to a new scale. This one we call it scale 2. Scale 2 is going to be a scale which happens, or just like except for yeah, instead of like trying to explain it like verbally. Let's do it. You know, like I'm gonna have another. I mean, like this is the 30. You know, like this is the first one, and the second scale is going to be 1. I don't know, like 2 maybe. Okay. So right now it's getting the mesh here, which is called the actor. So mesh is a term coming from like modeling. Modeling area. So like, okay, so we're going to get cube, and then first scale it, or maybe just call it. I mean, I'm not going to. I'm a terrible person with like working like what do you call it, like organized, but still, I'm going to begin overlap, begin overlap. Is what we're going to call it, begin overlap, and then this is the one we're going to call like end overlap, and over. Okay, going to compile it, save it, close it, and then what's going on here? How come this is like scale 2? We changed it, right? Like okay, obviously I didn't, how was I gonna call this end overlap? Oh god, this is the begin overlap. Like, how did I do such a mistake? Yeah, I'm not going to insult myself today. I'm like super depressed anyway, so like end overlap, yeah. Okay, so right now it's correct. So begin overlap, end overlap, begin overlap is going to be 1, 1, 30, and then the other one is going to be 2, 2, 1, or whatever. So like play. Yeah, so when we get close to this thing here, we're going to see it's gonna almost going to be like a skyscraper, and then when we go out, it's gonna get to the new scale. Go in, go out, go in, go out. You can also, you know, like you can use something like this for the game functionality too. You know, like I mean, let me just check. Okay, so this is, I mean, I don't give a care about the actual size of the mesh. I don't care about it. So like I'm just going to get it here, and then this time I'm going to have like, okay, not here, so I'm going to take it here. And then instead of like blah blah blah, I'm going to make it like 5, 5, whatever. So the difference is going to be more visible, you know, like it just works, you know, like you can use it as some kind of a door system, sky system, whatever system, you know, like the sky system, also the sky system, you know, like what we can do right now. I mean, you know, like we didn't define it. I mean, when we come here, you know, like we're going to see, let me just check. I mean, this is a blueprint of some variables, you know, like the first one is the cube right now, but you know, like instead of the cube, we can just also select the directional blueprint, directional light, sorry for that, and then basically just like pick the this is interesting. Okay, right now it's working, but it doesn't let me come here. So like I can just come here and then get the directional light. So of course, I mean when you scale the directional light, it's not going to get you any help, no? But instead of scaling that, we can just go here. And then instead of the scale, we can just like try to do something else, like the rotation, right? Like instead of this, okay, so like I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to here. So like I'm going to get a rotation or whatever that's called in Unreal Engine. I'm always having problem with it. Okay, so break rotator, set rotation. Set rotation, make rotator maybe, set oh god, can't type, set actor rotation maybe, okay, set actor rotation, that's obviously, okay, so delete this, whatever, I wasn't going to delete it, but I did anyway, so like, promote to variable, new rotation, Hey, you know, I mean, I'm not going to name them all. It's just like this is something which is getting crazy, you know, like when I overlap at the thing, you know, like it's going to get this thing, and then it's going to when the component begins to overlap, it's going to take it, gives it a new rotation, and then when it ends, I want to give it another rotation. To which object? To the same object. And then, okay, so here, and then eventually this is the promoter variable. The new rotation is the first one, new rotation 0 is the second one. You know, like I have no idea about the rotation, by the way, I have to admit it. You know, like, I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen when I set the rotation to a specific value or something, but I want to check it right now here. Okay, so it obviously didn't work. New rotation, yeah, because we didn't expose it here. The I symbols, you know, like it's real important. So like you have to select it and then like close it, you know, like you're going to see them here. So I'm just going to go something random, you know, like rotation 10, 10, I don't know, like 80, 82, and then I don't know, like 5, 5, 270. I'm just trying to make it as different as possible, so like there's an actual difference, you know. Yeah, so going back, okay, something happened. Let me go out. Probably something else happened, but we couldn't realize what it was because probably the what is the 60? Yeah, so 150, 150, 150. I have no idea. The problem with that is just because you know, like you have to give it a reasonable, like a value which will make any sense. So what I gave was like I have no idea if it's an actual value. Yeah, so obviously it doesn't work. I mean it works without a problem, but the problem is like I have no idea about the rotation. You know, like I mean what's even the rotation and what's the rotation of the thing right now? So new rotation. One, 10, 50, 50, 50, maybe something else. Okay, nothing happens. So maybe add rotation, maybe get the rotation first and then add something to it, but yeah, that's good. Okay, let me just check, like, UV4 rotation values, I mean, maybe it's between 0 and 1 or something like that, so, I mean, that might be a reason why. Okay, so let me just check here. You have some like, okay, 0, 0, 0. I mean, that might be a possibility, you know, like I can imagine, I mean, time to time it's like, okay, new rotation, 0, 0, this 1000. I think so. I mean, I'll just give it a shot, you know, like maybe it won't work, but maybe it'll work. So like point 1, point 1, point 1. And then here I'm making point 0.5, and then point 0.5, point 4, point 3. Whatever. Okay, so let's just try it. So like, I mean, I have no idea. I'm just okay. So like, it looks okay. Yeah, maybe it doesn't work. But still, you see that the sky updates. You know, like okay, better than nothing, right? Like, okay, maybe. Oh, I have no idea about it. God, like maybe something like this. It can be anything. Okay, it updates. Go out. Updates. Point 0.8. Point 0.8. Right. No idea how it works. I mean, there's this all kind of like different scientific values for stuff like that. Uh, got even darker. So like I mean, obviously it gets darker when the value is like okay. Let me just try like minus something, minus one, right? Right. Won't happen. Or maybe what we can do. Okay, so I have another idea, you know, like I mean instead of jets I can just try with it, like I don't know, like play with it like I don't know, a couple of hours still won't get anywhere. The rotation of the sun. Right now what I have with alt click, I'm going to break this and then eventually here get actor rotation. So I'm gonna see what's the rotation when when the component begins to overlap, and then what I'm going to do with it is then print the string and then just plug it here. So it's going to tell me what I have as a rotation right now, so I can just like get something like that. Okay, so the rotation I have is like, oh God, obviously that's the rotation here. Yeah, so correct. That's minus 36. Let me just do it again. Just do it again. Okay, so that's minus 36 again. Okay, I do like, okay, so let me just, okay, so, delete, okay, so I'm going to plug this one here, this one here, and then the rotations are always plugged in, so like I can delete this one, and then compile and save, and then like minimize this here, and then this time I'm going to select it again. How about this? Okay, so I'm going to select it, I'm going to make it like minus 36, 150, 150, I don't know, just to make sure it's going to work. So like, this is what's going to happen when we get inside. Oh God, how come it won't work? Because I'm first, maybe 150, 36, minus 36, minus 36. I mean, if this doesn't work, I have no idea what's going to work. So. Okay, so haha, we made it, right? This is how it works. Some works, right? Works, 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 works. So, but like, of course, you will never have a sunlight like that. You know, like what you may want to do is like, you know, like set actor rotation, right? But, but, you're gonna have like two rotations, you know? I mean, two rotations right now, we have them. And then you're just going to set actor rotation, but this actor rotation is it's not going to be the one of the rotations. It's going to be like a verb, they call it. And this is probably going to be kind of crazy, but still we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, people. Okay, so I'm going to get here break link to no. Okay, promote a variable break rotator, right? I'm going to break this rotator. I'm going to break this rotator into three different like variables, you know, like x, y, z. I'm going to get this one. I have two values, right? Like, I mean, this new rotation, Control C, Control V, get it here, plug it. So like, did it, and then X, Y, Z, lerp, 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 right? Lerp, lerp, another lerp. And then the three lerps are going to be the three lerps which are lerping between the two lerps. So like X is going to be lerped between this here. Linear interpolation is the name of it. Like lerp is actually cool. I mean, I kind of like it. So lerp, 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 lerp. Okay, I'm going to lerp between X here and X here, Y here and Y here, and Z here and Z here. Which means, you know, like I'm getting one of these values, and then like I'm going to change it into the other one, just like by interpolating that. So, what am I going to do? So I'm going to linear interpolate it, and then I'm just, of course, I'm going to need an alpha for that. You know, like alpha 0 is going to be the first one, alpha 1 is going to be the second one. So like I need to actually just change between 0 and 1. So what I need for that is I always forget the name of this thing too. So like that's animation, no, graph, maybe, no, oh god, curve, maybe, no, animation, no, that's an animation, right? Yeah, that's an animation, play something, maybe, play, I can't believe, I mean, like how many times I did that, you know, like I don't remember the name of it, but play animation, that's not an animation, so that's play, oh god, getting me crazy. So like, I mean, it's going to play on event overlap. You're going to, oh god, play blueprint, mm, play lerp UE4 blueprint. I just need to remember the name of it. I know how the thing works and stuff, but like, I mean, it has to have a name, right? Like, I don't remember the name. Ah, that's called the timeline, you know, like even without seeing it, I remember that. Sorry for that. Okay, so that's going to be a timeline, correct? Timeline. Add a timeline. I'm going to add a timeline. And in this timeline, then the overlap begins, you know, like I'm going to play this. And what I'm going to play is just by double clicking this, I'm going to add another vector. I'm going to add a float, which is just basically just numbers. So this is going to be 0, 0. This is going to be, okay, so in how many seconds I want this animation to play? So like probably 5, right? Like, okay, so the value has to be 1. In 5 seconds, the value has to go from 5, from 0 to 1. So like trying to compile it, save it, go back to event graph, and then this is just basically right now playing the animation from 0 to 1, and then I want to update my rotation with that, and the rotation is going to be, I mean the track is going to be, the alpha value is going to be the new track 0. So okay, plug it, compile, save, close it, play. Okay, so what was the, okay, so come here. Nothing happened. Let's go. Okay, so let's just do it again. Ah, yeah, okay. This is, yeah, so that's 5 minutes. Okay, how the heck? I have to, yeah, of course, because why? Because I mean, I'm just basically plugging this thing just directly here, you know, like I need to make another rotation, make rotator right, and then plug it, and basically return value here just as a, okay, so now compile, save, minimize, play. We're going to, okay, it's working, hey. Okay, so this was just a test, you know, like, I mean, of course you can tweak it and stuff, but like this is just basically how it works. Was what I was trying to show you guys, and then eventually when the okay, so this is what I want to happen when the overlap happens. When the overlap ends, I want probably the opposite thing to happen. Timeline, add timeline. I'm going to add another timeline here, basically just doing the exact opposite thing, you know, like, I mean, it was starting by 1, 0. This time we're going to add 2 keys, okay, so here, and then this one's going to be at 1 in the time 0, okay, and then the second one is going to be 0 when the time reaches 5. So in 5 seconds, basically, it's just going from 1 to 0, compile, save, and then this time we want to plug it to, like, again, I mean, so it will play the same animation, you know, like this time it's going to play the, do I have to do it again? Okay, so this one, I mean, the alpha is just like, I don't know what we do. Okay, so like, I mean, no, completely wrong. Completely wrong, Taha. Okay, so we're going to reverse from end, right? Like play, stop, and then just basically reverse. So compile, save. I mean, we didn't need, yeah, so sometimes I'm just being stupid. I'm like, okay, so let's just see what's gonna happen. So my sound is going, and then I come back. Yeah, you see, hey, we can just play with the shadow, right? Right. Jump. It works. Yeah, so we got a basic blueprint interaction. I mean, there's actually, I mean, this is kind of a, I mean, I would just definitely change the name of it. It's been kind of a cool tutorial, I think, because you know, like, I mean, there's blueprint interaction. I mean, if you guys have any questions and okay, so this is working actually. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys have, I don't know, like some new topics you guys can think of that I can do another tutorial and stuff, like you can just write down in the comments. Uh, like every single YouTuber, you know, like I mean, just click that subscribe button and then also hit the like button. Just don't forget to turn on the notification. And that's, I think, it. So, like, I mean, just for the next video, you know, like, just, guys, hey, I'm begging you, you know, like, just give me an opinion, you know, like, just, okay, so, like, this is basically, I mean, this is unbelievably cool that the ray tracing is actually working this cool, you know, like, in real time. Just check the sky. I mean, this is, okay, so, this is, okay, so I'm just going back, yeah. Working. Now what I can do, yeah, I'm just playing with it. You know, like I mean, I have an idea of a new like game mechanics. You know, like probably it's not the best, but I'm still like trying to like improve the idea of it. You know, like I'm just trying to get to that point, and in the meanwhile, I'm just trying to get some scenes here, like some basic scenes and stuff. You know, like just some basic interaction and everything, and then eventually, so like I mean. In the meanwhile, I'm kind of spending some time. Maybe it's kind of stupid what I'm doing here, but yeah, who knows? Okay, wow. I mean, I think the light here doesn't have a, doesn't have a global illumination. So let me just check it. So like, or maybe the value is just like too low. So let me just take it to 20. Now source radius and blah 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 blah. Source radius can be something like 5 maybe. So we will have some like soft shadows, which is real cool. I can also show you guys that. So like I mean instead of intensity, we have it like I don't know like 160 or something, which is something real strong. You know? You're going to see. I mean when the radius is like 0, your shadows are going to be like totally like edgy and stuff, and then I just get it to some like I don't know 10. Shadows are going to be soft instead of hard, so like that's kind of cool. And then also the global ISO here. In break lighting intensity, we can take it to 2, 3, 3 maybe. Okay, so let's try it. What's gonna happen? So play the game, start. Let me know. Yeah, yeah, I think it's working. So like, I mean, let's just take it to something extreme like 55. I mean, I know it's too extreme. I just want to see a difference before I stop this broadcast. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, so wow. Just look at it. You know, like even though the light is on that side, I stay like this, the light just bounces from the side. You know, like I don't know where it bounces. You know, like but it definitely bounces, and the lighting is just like perfect. You know, like it's just check it. You know? Maybe the camera is just like way too far away from the character. You know, like I mean, it's just let's just try with it. I mean, let's just try to check if we can change it. Third person blueprint character. So going to the viewport, and now we're suddenly gonna see the camera is just way too far away. Let me just like try to memorize the location of it. So select it. When it's 0. Okay, instead of 0, let's have it something like that, something like this. And now we can just take it back to 0 and done with it. So I just want to see how it's going to look when we're just a little bit closer to our character. So yeah, it's okay, right? Okay, so I mean, we could of course, yeah. So I want to add some like, I mean, this is also kind of challenging to me, you know. Like, I mean, I want to add some like functionality to the game. Maybe in the next video or not. Yeah, maybe this video. Yeah, so like, I mean, in the third person, yeah, I'll do it real quick, you know, like I was thinking about something more complex, and right now I just thought like, you know, like instead of, okay, so let's take it to 0, you know, like here we're at 0. And then I'm going to the event graph, you know, like I just want to have a, have an option to, okay, scroll log, I don't know. I want to have an option to change between like between different distances of camera. Just like I don't know, maybe use the tap button for that. You know, like just want to use the tap button, and then when I press it, so like I mean, there's also this thing here which is super cool. I mean, for some basic functionality like this flip flop. You know, flip flop is something you can use for like I mean first playing this one and the second one second time it happens you're gonna play B, so like I mean it's just gonna fire from like every single time it's gonna fire one of this, and then like that's that, and then the camera right now there's the where do I have the camera, there's the follow camera is just basically right now that's in like where we want to get it. Okay, so we want to get it to minus, no, not minus, so we want to get it more, I mean, closer to the 100, 0, 0. So the first, okay, so then just enter the, okay, so when I press it for the first time, set actor, what, relative location. This is important. So if we set the set world location is basically just work location is the actual work location. So at, oh god, we can't do it. Why can't we do it? Set actor location, set location, at relative, at local, at set relative location, set world location, set relative location. Yeah, so I think it's just the same thing, but whatever. So that was the, okay, so I'm going to delete this one here, get it here, and then the first one is going to be, what did it say, 100, 0, 0, okay, maybe, I mean, like, we can do that, yeah, whatever, I mean, yeah, just copy this one time, I mean, normally there are some better ways of doing it, but no, yeah, I leave it here. It's going to be hard coded, but whatever. 0, 0, 0. So like I'll say, just I mean this is something I want to have like every single time I play it suddenly. Okay, so right now it works. Cool. See you guys in the next video. No, I'm not going to say it right now. I'm going to make it 200 because I mean 100 is not as extreme as I thought. So like if we have like two options, one of them has to be real close to it. So like save file, play. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of, yeah, but almost. Hey, what we can actually do. Ooh, super cool idea, right? Let's just come here and then just get the camera and then just like get the cam. Wow, that's cool. I mean, of course it's not super good, but like I mean, I never thought about it. So okay, so this is going to be first person is going to be minus 330 60 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 minus 330, and then there's going to be 60. So I can just go back and forth between I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I don't care right now. I'm not going to spend my time on it. It was just something I was just thinking about just trying. Okay. Hey, please don't crash. Don't crash on me. I mean, kind of because the newest version of the Unreal is not stable. You know, like time to time when you wanna. What? That's okay. So that's not minus. That's plus. But this is also cool. This is also cool. It's almost like an action RPG shooter or whatever. But this wasn't what I wanted. So what I wanted was like obviously instead of 330. I mean minus 330. It's 330. So let's play again. Okay. So right now we're in first person template, right? This is cool. We can also see our body and stuff. Yay! Mm. Okay, oh, that's wow, this is cool. And I can just basically change between first person and third person, first, third, first, third, first, third, first, third. Jump. Okay. Wow. Nice. Okay, so well, I'll see you guys next time. You know, like don't forget to subscribe, and then how was it? Don't forget to like the video. I mean, just come up with some suggestions. You know, like what we can do in the next video and stuff. Like I'm just doing some random things. I know, nothing too cool, but still, I mean, you guys can I don't know, like just see one thing or two. So have a good day.